So what we're going to do now is we're going to change out the Fordham handle. But first I'm going to take this bit out, get it put away, and changing out the Fordham handle is pretty easy. We're going to change out this pneumatic hammer for the one that you're used to seeing in there, and you're just grabbing the handpiece and where it attaches right here, and you're just pulling. Inside of there, there's a groove, and there's also a notch right here, a groove that when you put it back on, you want to line it up before you push it together. So we're going to go ahead and line that up again. In here, there's a little bitty groove in there, so I'm going to take a look at that, line it up, and once you have it lined up, just make sure your hands are not getting caught inside here, and you're just going to push and you'll hear it click. This particular bit only works when you're in reverse on the Fordham. If you turn it on forward, it's gonna sound really funky, so just change the direction of your motor. So if I go really slowly, what happens on this bit is it's just like a little baby hammer, and if you need to tighten this, you can take a little bit of wire inside here if that's loosening up, and you can just push it to tighten that in there, or actually twist it. So the idea is you are going to come at a 45-degree angle on your tube when your stone is in there, and you're going to push that distance over. So if we go back to our drawing, the idea is to think about taking your pneumatic hammer, and I'm going to go ahead and finish on this side a little bit. And again, your seat's cut in here, so that looks a little different than what I have on my drawing, and that's a little tall for where it will be. So I'm going to take my pneumatic hammer and I'm going to actually hit it right here. But the face of it, make sure you're coming in this way. If you come in at any kind of angle in there, it's going to tear up the side of your tube. So I'm going to hit it right here, and I'm going to gently close the gap between this and the crown of the stone. And just like when you were doing your bezel setting with the burnishers, there is my stone, and here's the outside tube right here, you're going to start, if you start here, you're going to hammer that in a little bit, and then you're going to come opposite, and then opposite, so north, south, east, west, or if you're looking at 12, 6, 3, 9. And then you just come in, and if I go here, I just want to go opposite, and I keep doing that as I go around. And then once I've tacked it in, I no longer have to hold that stone in place while I do that. It will be in there. It might be loose a little bit, and if it is loose, you just continue to hammer. Now sometimes you need to change the direction. So if your pieces come right here, and if you've hammered that down, sometimes you need to change the direction of that and come in that direction on there. So for this, you take your sticky wax, you're going to lay that down in, and this is tricky. So if I have a stone that's this size, this becomes even more trickier to kind of hold in place. Right here. Now I haven't cut the seat for that, but just so you get a sense about having to hold that stone in there, because the only way that stone is going to stay level is if you kind of brace it, and I tend to use the tip of my fingernail. If you don't have any fingernails, you might have to use the side of your finger to do that. And then I'm going to tilt it, and I'm just going to come in, and I do not want that stone to shift. So if I overhammer this, and that shifts up, it's not going to get set. So I take it and I turn it, and I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite. And then I continue to do that. Opposite, 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 opposite. And notice each time I'm double checking and make sure that stone is sitting down in there. So it's starting to come over, and I would continue to do that all the way around. And then the face of this, once you're finished, you can come in and clean that up. The other thing you can do is you can go back to the burnisher that we used with the bezel set, And once you're finished pulling the walls over and closing that gap, you can use the back side of that, and you can just put pressure on that, and that just smooths that out. And then, when you're finished, you'll have a nice clean, polished edge around there. And that's faceted tube setting. Until next time.